In today's review, we turn our gaze towards the world of classic literature. Published in 1962 and acclaimed as one of the most definitive novels of the 20th century, we'll be examining One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. Kesey's masterpiece intertwines themes of authority, rebellion, sanity, and the very essence of humanity, giving readers a story that continues to resonate decades after its publication. Kesey's narrative unfolds in a mental institution in Oregon, an environment he had first-hand experience with during his work at the Menlo Park Veterans Hospital. The story is narrated by Chief Bromden, a Native American patient who has been in the hospital for many years. He's an ostensibly deaf and mute figure, enabling him to bear witness to the events within the hospital walls without causing interference. The equilibrium of the ward, run by the manipulative and domineering Nurse Ratched, is disrupted with the arrival of Randle Patrick McMurphy, a boisterous, brawling, fun-loving rebel who swaggers into the ward like a pirate invading a peaceful town. McMurphy is transferred from a prison work farm, feigning insanity in hopes of a more comfortable sentence. In the hospital, McMurphy stands out among the other patients who are either physically disabled or psychologically traumatized. His vitality and defiance to the oppressive system soon make him a beacon of hope for his fellow patients, particularly for the narrator, Chief Bromden. McMurphy is determined to overthrow the emasculating Nurse Ratched, a former Army nurse who runs the psychiatric ward with a rigid preciseness. She uses her ability to control and manipulate her patients, keeping them submissive through a combination of humiliation, antipsychotic drugs, and electroconvulsive therapy. The ward is filled with acutes, patients who are deemed curable, and chronics, those considered incurable. McMurphy quickly notices the power dynamics and takes up the challenge to liberate the men from Ratchet's control. He instigates rebellious acts from encouraging gambling during group therapy to arranging a fishing trip, where he teaches them self-reliance. As McMurphy's influence grows, so does the tension between him and Nurse Ratched. Despite her attempts to subdue him, including sessions of electroconvulsive therapy, he continues his rebellious streak. Eventually, the confrontation comes to a head when he smashes the nurse's station's glass window, a symbol of her power, in an attempt to retrieve his confiscated cigarettes. In the aftermath of this incident, Nurse Ratched imposes a series of punitive measures that make life even more unbearable for the patients. This leads to McMurphy's plan to escape, which he includes some of the other patients in, particularly Chief Bromden. However, his plan fails when he decides to stay for a night of partying with two women he sneaks into the institution. During the party, McMurphy and Chief Bromden plan to escape, but the morning finds McMurphy passed out from the festivities, and he's caught before he can escape. In the commotion, one of the patients, Billy Bibbett, is found with one of the women from the party, and unable to face the shame that Nurse Ratched places on him, he takes his own life. Enraged by Billy's death, McMurphy attacks Nurse Ratched, attempting to strangle her. He's pulled away before he can kill her, but the damage is done. As punishment for his violent act, McMurphy is subjected to a lobotomy, a surgical procedure that leaves him in a vegetative state. In the end, Chief Bromden, unable to bear the sight of his friend in such a state, smothers McMurphy with a pillow. In a final act of rebellion, and as a tribute to McMurphy, Chief Bromden escapes the hospital by lifting the control panel in the tub room, a task he and McMurphy attempted previously, and throwing it through a window. Now outside, he heads towards Canada, leaving behind the oppressed institution forever. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is an intricate exploration of power dynamics, rebellion, and the definition of sanity. Kesey uses the mental institution as a microcosm of society, showcasing the harsh reality of how institutions operate to control and manipulate individuals, in particular, how society emasculates men. McMurphy's character serves as an embodiment of individuality and free will against the oppressive authority represented by Nurse Ratched. His failure to overthrow the system entirely does not detract from the transformative influence he has on his fellow patients, notably Chief Bromden. Nurse Ratched symbolizes the institution's authoritative power, using psychological manipulation and medical procedures to enforce conformity. Her character provides a critique of how society can use mental health diagnoses and treatments as tools for control and suppression. In closing, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey is a timeless piece of literature that provokes thought on societal norms and individual freedoms. It is a captivating narrative that paints a stark picture of power dynamics within social institutions, a theme that resonates with readers even today. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of a literary classic. If you found this video insightful, we invite you to subscribe to the channel for more book summaries and analyses. As we continue to journey through literature's vast landscape, your support helps us create more content for all literature enthusiasts out there. Until next time, keep reading.